everyone, welcome back. You should have seen the end of the little Chinese bike video by now. And yes, the engine started, but the more I dive into the bike, the more issues I find. This was never an upright bike, guys. This was a calf racer style bike. It had huge, thick, down front forks, huge, thick gold ones. If you go online and put in fact, I'll throw up a picture now for you of an original. It's a WK RT125, and they're calf racers. So this whole front end has been swapped out, and that would explain the issues with the front. And don't get me wrong, the front end is done and good. I've done the wheels properly, it's all on. But trying to find parts for this Frankenstein bike is really difficult. Just trying to find a chain that fits. Now I can order a chain and sprocket for 30 quid, but I have no idea that it's the right chain or sprocket for this bike. And then all of the switch gear and everything else. So it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. I think the best advice I had was to get it running, put it together and sell it as spares. I think that's probably it, actually. 300 or 400 quid as a runner, but needs work before an MOT. Now, the virago's out. I had a man message me yesterday with a really, really long-winded story. And I have to admit, I didn't read the whole thing. It said, basically I'm a bit older now. This could be the last project I ever do with my son, and so on. And actually, I kind of stopped reading on purpose, and I focused on the reality and logistics of, do you actually want to come and view this bike? Blah, blah, blah. I felt that was really important because I've seen and heard the stories, all the stories. And actually, I'm so soft that I've been kind of ripped off so many times in my life with stuff like this. So, yeah, I stopped reading, which was the right thing to do, and focused on logistics. Would you like to view? When would you like to come? Blah, blah, blah. This and that. So I think he's due now between 10 and 11, and it's 10 o'clock now, but he hasn't actually messaged this morning. I mean, he was messaging me for 2 or 3 hours yesterday about this bike, so hopefully it's genuine and he is coming to look. And actually, someone messaged about the Harley as well. They said they'd like to view the Harley today. Now, the Harley hasn't got a battery in it. It needs pulling out, it needs polishing, it needs putting back together. But if they both sold in one day, that would be a Christmas miracle, because they they need to go, really. Although I don't mind sitting on the Harley. That could be a summer bike for me again. Got no huge issues there. So I need to give this a quick clean and polish. It's just a bit unfair for someone to come down and not see it at its best. It doesn't make sense. I'm selling it for £1,000 to this guy if he turns up. £1,000 for a bike like this is nothing. I took the battery out last night, put it on charger, and it didn't need it. It was charged. It was charged within 5 minutes anyway, so yeah. So the battery's not bad either, which is great news. And actually, when you look at the bike, for £1,000, it's got a year's MOT, it runs and rides perfectly well, and I've just done the car cleaning and everything. You're getting a lot of bike for your money, which is perfect, really. I had another guy yesterday message me, call me and chat to me for absolute ages while Paul and Rabjab were here. And then at the end he goes, is it ULEZ compliant? And it says really clearly in capital letters on my posting, not ULEZ compliant. And then he was a bit like, well, why are you selling it in London then? Oh, and I had to go through that story of what, Sultan using it, blah, blah, blah. People can be annoying is probably the message here. So let me give this a bit of a polish. You see simple little marks. Like, I know I polished this up not long ago, look. But little marks there, probably from me running my finger up and down it like I just did. Quick clean, quick polish, just get every little nip here. It looks like a bit of bird poop, and it'll be at its best. I will chuck the battery in because it held charge for the last 2 or 3 weeks anyway, so it's fine. And hope this guy turns up. And then the Honda. The Honda. I think I want to put it together as a bike with Nat's paintwork. It's a lot of work at this stage to do the frame. and the frame just isn't that bad. Once I've put on all the bits that I'm putting on, and you see that, you'll see that the bike is in great condition overall. You'll see that it'll be really clear. So I think over Christmas or close to, I want to put this back together. I'm going to start with the head, so that we can get the light back on, get the electrics back in, get the steering sorted, and I'll go from there. Side panels. I do need to get these extended hoses for a filter, and it's going to be hidden behind the airbox, which is good. That gives it a bit of protection from rain and stuff. I'm going to piece it together. I've spoke to John a lot about this, and he thinks strip it, get the frame painted, but it is not a quick and easy job, and we're winter. It's freezing right now. So that bike's going to be back together at some point, because it needs to be a bike, which is cool. So let me get this polished. I'll just show you roughly what it looks like, but ultimately we're just taking away tiny little bits of imperfections, and then we'll be starting fresh, and I'll let you guys know if the guy turns up. So while waiting for this buyer, whether he's coming or not, check this out. This is Nat's Knacker's Yard. Paintwork. It is ridiculous. I don't get it. It looks powder coated. It's on so thick. I wish next year I'm gonna try and push on painting. I want to be able to do this. Absolutely stunning. Now the reason I'm pulling this out is because I want to basically start piecing the bike back together. The tank is in my bedroom, and the side panels are in my bedroom. They're kind of the last piece of the puzzle when it comes to it. I mean, I absolutely love this bike, so I want it to be back as a bike, you know, back together. One thing I've not tested is the new coil, so I will charge up the battery, and I will just check that it's sparking. You can do that simply by kicking it, and if it's sparking, then it should be fine. No reason why it wouldn't. But I do want to get it all back together. Now all of these connections go in through the front light, so you kind of push them in. Now I might put a bit of tape around them to try and neaten them up a touch in there, so they're not flapping around and scraping around. And then of course you have the actual front of the light that clips on afterwards. And then there was a switch, wasn't there, to turn the light on? It would have been, yeah, there was a switch if I remember rightly. So let me see if I need to put in any of the lights on top. There might have been a neutral light, and any of the switches. And if I do, then I like to get this back on, and maybe get the top back on, maybe even get the handlebars back on, while I've got a bit of time to myself. Rabjab don't know I'm here today, so he shouldn't turn up. So I'm still waiting on this guy. I have a feeling he's not going to turn up, because he well, he's not here, and it's 11 o'clock. I might call him. I think he left me a number. I did message him earlier. Basically, with this wiring, you've got to do it bit by bit. So the left switch gear is this one here. That's all wired in. That's fine. The right switch gear is this one here. I'm missing these 3 wires, but I think they attach to the actual front light. Now this blue I'm unsure about, but it probably ties into there somehow. I think that's a high beam light, you see. So something will tie them 2 blues together. Oranges may be earths on here, or indicators. It may be that the indicators have been earthed for something. So I think that's it, because we're not using indicators on this bike. I haven't put them on. I'm not going to. I'm going to leave them off. And then we've got the that'll be the brake light switch, I believe. Yeah, so looking alright. Alright, I did want to get that on today, but honestly, it is ice cold. My hands are cold. I can't be arsed. So I'm going to put it away for now. That goes back under cover. That goes back in there. That's stunning paintwork, and will go on the bike very soon. And I think I'm going to just create. I'm just going to put that together as a bike to be sold as spares or repairs for someone else to continue the project, and then I'll look at getting a non-runner, non-starter bike rather than, because look, when we saw that from the original video, it had nothing. It's in a terrible state. It's not a build worth doing, I have to be honest. Thanks a lot, guys. Some of you messaged me yesterday about being hardcore fans. I know, you know, it's a community. What we build is a community. Anyone knows they can pop down to the garage and say hi and say bye and come in and service their bikes and pick up my tools and this and that. So I absolutely encourage it, and that's what this is all about. And that's very similar, and that loves the conversation and the chat. So you know, continue doing that. And remember, my videos will slow down over Christmas and into the new year, but they should pick up properly from kind of March or April. Do stay in contact. Do drop a comment every now and again. Do message me on through either the Facebook Motorcycle Rescuer page or through Instagram. And let's keep this alive.